You are here because the outside world rejects you.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
Come on, let's get nuts.
This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
I made a money.
Come on, Peter Tingle.
Here we go.
What's up? What's up? What up?
Welcome to an all-new Nerds to Men. I am Brad Reed.
I'm your boy Cameo. What's up, y'all?
And Cameo, so if I gave you a quiz right now, how many of those movies quotes could you name?
All of them.
All of them?
Yeah.
What about the "Let's get nuts"?
That's ain't that oh my goodness. Yeah, forget it. I can't tell.
It's Batman.
It's not coming to mind.
It's the Batman from '89 with Keaton and Jack Nicholson, where
That's right, where he's about to get shot in the house.
Yeah. He appears as Bruce Wayne,
right?
Because Vicky Vale doesn't know that he's Batman yet. He's trying to tell her, actually. And the Joker commits the original sin of "you got to call before you come. I won't just pop on over."
I don't think that's the meaning of that song.
I think it has a few different meanings.
Yeah. I don't think it's that one though.
But I think the meaning that people should take here is that you got to call before you come over.
Okay, yeah, that is true. That is very. It's very polite when you do it that way.
Out the blue, on you.
Oh, Outcast.
I hope that you do too. Anyway, great way to start the show, Cameo. Great way, but
it is.
Yeah, I was just curious. I mean, most of them are pretty recent.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite one is the Peter Tingle, I think.
Yeah.
Every time I hear the Peter Tingle, it makes me laugh, Cameo.
Come on, Peter Tingle. The way you whispered it too.
Yeah. Well, originally, was it him that said it, or was it Aunt May that originally said
Aunt May.
Yeah. And the way,
I thought you could sense that with your Peter Tingle.
Yeah. And I just thought that was so funny, the way she said it. Like when because your aunts, your grandmas, they have a way of kind of like saying things that embarrass you.
Right.
And I felt like Aunt May was kind of like, you're Peter Tingle. Like, no, Aunt May, no. But then he says it later and it's really funny. So.
Right.
Good times. I would like to discuss the Peter Tingle more with Aunt May, but only in the movies. Only the movie Aunt May version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Marissa
Tomei.
Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
I like her.
So does Tony Stark.
Yeah, he does. Because he's a smart guy. He's got good taste.
Yeah.
Just like me. So, Cameo, how's your week been going?
So far, pretty good, man. Work is kind of hectic this week, but it is what it is. It's
Yeah. It feels like we're maybe, and I don't know if pretty soon we'll have to retire the Pandemics, come up with a different name for it. I just kind of like that name though.
I know it is kind of cool.
But I mean, the Pandemic's not cool at all, but people know what we mean. Just like
right.
The name is clear.
Yeah, we're going to have to come up with another name.
So it seems like, people are getting out there a little bit and some people are still wearing masks. I'm hoping that most of the people that aren't are the ones that are vaccinated, And if you don't feel good, then wear a mask. Wear a mask if you're going out.
Yeah.
If you have, or don't go out. People are a lot more. I feel like understanding right now of, I don't feel good. I'm staying home today. You know what I mean?
Right.
Please do.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't come out. Because I remember when my daughter was in school, they would say, if your kid is, not feeling good, don't bring them to school.
Right.
Like, don't do that.
Right.
That's how you should act. Like if you're not, unless you absolutely have to get out and you are your own means of getting that, then I kind of understand. But if it's something that you can hold off for a day, or 2 days,
Yeah.
then don't do it. But I mean, that's the good thing with like Postmates and Uber Eats, DoorDash, whatever. I mean, you have those options now, so you don't really have to get out if you don't need to.
And you know,
it might cost a little bit of extra, but I mean,
yeah. Well, and as a community, we need to look out for people. Like, you know, oh, you don't feel well, I'll bring something, leave it on your door.
Yeah.
Only thing people leave on my door is burning, and it smells like nasty. You know what I mean?
Right.
From the Billy Madison movie, I think they featured that.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Called the bag of dog poop. I love it.
Shampoo is better.
Stop looking at me, Schwan.
Yes.
We might need to throw those in there.
We got to find some to drop in there a few times. I need a bigger board now. I'm gonna have like all kinds of different drops to throw in there, but or we can add some more stuff to the open, fluff it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Also that could mean something else, but
yes,
not what is meant here. So
mines are in the gutter today.
Yours, only yours. Yeah. Well, let's before we get to all the nerd updates, this is going to be a very nerd update heavy show. I want to tell everybody about how they can get our show and another show that's coming up soon, very soon, maybe in the next week or two. I believe me and Nugget have decided that we're going to call the show Conformist Peach Cobbler, which makes no sense other than it was, that was like, I'll have to confirm with Nugget, but originally that was the name of what our punk rock band was going to be, Conformist Peach Cobbler. And I believe that the name actually came from Heather, from Joey and Heather.
Mm-hmm.
She was either saying something, I think she was like talking about either me or Nugget, like as likers of punk rock music, or something to the effect of, she was like, I just always imagine people like that sitting around being like, no, Mom, I'm not going to eat your Conformist Peach Cobbler, you know? And so we were laughing and we were like, well, that's our name now. So all these years later, we were trying to come up with all these names. And, you know, if you think of a really good name for a horror podcast right now, odds are it's probably already taken. Because A, there's a lot of horror movie podcasts, and B, all the good ones are taken. So, so we were like, you know, let's just call it that because A, it stands out, it's original, nobody else is going to be using it, and it has a little history for us. And, you know, the podcast doesn't necessarily, you know, kind of like me and yours, it doesn't always have to be about horror movies. It just will be a lot more about horror movies because, A, me and Nugget go back a long way of watching horror movies together and talking about them. And B, you don't watch as many horror type movies. So it's still going to be under the Nerds to Men umbrella, though. So you'll be able to get the new horror podcast. Did you lock up, Cameo? Or you? Oh no, okay.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
I thought you locked up for a second, but you're over there researching for the show.
Yes.
But anyway, you can get the horror podcast. You can get the Nerds to Men podcast ad free at patreon.com/dopepods. And it's only $1 a month. So that dollar gets you at least 3 or 4 shows. We try to do a show a week. And sometimes we get off schedule depending on different things, but we try to do it at times where maybe things are slower too. So
that's true.
Yeah. Patreon.com/dopepods. That's where you're going to get all the latest Nerds to Men pods. I try to get it up earlier on that site before all the others, a day earlier. So that's a little added value. And then you don't have to listen to the ads. If you're listening to us on all the other places like Apple and Google and all those spots, then you're going to hear ads during the show that we not our ads, but like, you know, national ads that those places put in. So you want to avoid all that.
Don't forget too, Brad, that, you know, we're working on some merchandise.
Yep.
And,
yep.
It's going to be, I already teased a little bit of what to Brad about what my wife is working on, and man, like I'm telling you, she's working on it so hard, and I cannot wait to get this on a shirt.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
It's gonna be dope.
Yeah.
It's gonna be real dope. I can't wait either. So, and then because you're a Patreon or patron of Dope Pods, you'll get one of these dope shirts for free.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We're gonna throw one your way. Now, Chris, he's Chris Stum. He's a follower of the show, a listener, and he is a patron at patreon.com. And so his question was, do I get a free shirt every month? And to that, I was like, no, it won't work.
Yeah.
It won't work like that. But when we get like a new version of like our shirts, I'll be kicking one your way. And at least, you know, so, and then maybe they get like, you'll get cut like advance or only for patrons.
Yeah, maybe like they get first dibs.
Mm-hmm. Well,
we only have like a select few.
Yeah, like we only make a few for them, and then everybody else gets something different. So
right.
Yeah, that's what's up. Patreon.com/dopepods. It's only $1 a month. So I think you'll be getting your $1 worth. For sure.
Faux show.
All right, Cameo, let's get to these nerd updates because there's been a bunch of stuff coming out. And all of these, except for one, are confirmed. So the first one, though, I want to talk about, it's just a rumor right now.
Yeah.
But this is the thing about it. Like, it's kind of an annoying rumor to me because every week you find out, you hear one of these two things, right?
Mm-hmm.
You hear so-and-so is going to be the next Wolverine. Or you hear Tom Hardy's going to be the next so-and-so. So it's, think of a character who hasn't been cast yet or brought into either the Marvel or DC, and Tom Hardy's up for that role already. Yeah.
Who's going to play Professor X? Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Why not? He could. But
I mean, he does have an accent. I don't know if he would like to go bald.
Yeah.
Well, he would be a buff Professor X, though.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like Tom Hardy, like, he definitely could do anything he wants.
Oh, yeah.
He just, I don't know. Professor X might be a little bit of a stretch for me, but I could see him being Wolverine, like, for real. Like, he could be Wolverine. But I mean,
look at his gruff right now.
Yeah.
On my backdrop.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
I don't want it, though.
No, I'm not saying that he's amazing as oh my gosh, what's his name? Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Venom.
Yeah. But he is Eddie Brock right now.
Yeah. So, he was Bane at one point. Which he did, really good for the Nolan verse of Batman. So, I wouldn't mind seeing him. But I do kind of want somebody younger, Zac Efron. And I'm joking about
Zac
that.
Efron's not even that young anymore, but he's He's like the mini Tom Hardy of,
right?
Green Lantern, Zac Efron, The Flash, Zac Efron.
Right.
I mean, Tom Hardy could be Wolverine. At this point, I'm almost thinking you should try to go a little younger, like you were saying, but Zac Efron might be a little too old. I mean, it just depends on how they're going to build the next X-Men phase.
Yeah, that's true.
And I want to see it more as a team. I don't want to see it as like all these movies where Wolverine was just kind of barely showing up towards the end because he had his own movies and it was his own franchise. I thought that was cool, but I like seeing him as part of the team and stuff too.
Right.
But with the First Class and all that, they started redoing it to where they were younger, but they didn't have any way to do that for Hugh Jackman because he is Wolverine.
And by the time of the era that they were young X-Men, he was basically Hugh Jackman's age. In the first X-Men. So it's like you can't really, like, in the 90s, because you remember when the First Class started, they were all young, and Wolverine or Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine in the bar scene where he told him to blank off, then it was he was already that age, so it's going to be kind of hard to find somebody that's younger but older than the current team.
Well, yeah, because you're right. He wasn't ever like their age. He was always a little older. Yeah, you're right about that. But I'm just trying to think of somebody more contemporary to who would be the new class of X-Men coming up, But maybe Tom Hardy does fit that bill. I mean, he's not quite. Yeah, he's not an old guy.
Maybe. Yeah. But oh my goodness, and like with the new X-Men, like I'm really hoping that they fight Sentinels this time. They kind of alluded to it in Days of Future Past, I believe. Yeah, Days of Future Past, and they had the Sentinels, but nobody fought them.
Yeah,
and I was kind of upset about that. Like I was really hoping that we were going to see Wolverine and Beast and some of the other X-Men, fight them, but it was just basically Magneto's puppets. But it is what it is.
They need to. I feel like they need to embrace the the X-Men were always, to me, more grown up than just the your typical Spider-Man or something.
Yeah.
You had the cartoon, and so that was cool for I was like a teenager when that came out. But I felt like the X-Men was more mature. And so I would like to see that kind of maturity in these movies.
Yeah, and they tackled in the show, it was deeper meaning to like all the stuff that was going on in the show.
Yeah, the show wasn't just fluff. I'm not saying that.
Right.
It followed along with the comic books and stuff. But yeah, it was made for kids, and so I feel like the X-Men movies are made for families, except for Old Man Logan.
Yeah,
and Old Man Logan's one of my favorites. So I'd like to see one that's not, and I guess it is kind of like, I don't know, like everything doesn't have to be dark and gritty. No, it doesn't. But you're asking me, I'm 40 years old, what I want.
Yeah.
I'm not 10. And now, now, I mean, I know a lot of, like you and other people I know that still have younger children, it's not like I want them to only make movies for 40-year-old guys who want to see blood and gore and blah, blah, blah. Right. But I still want the X-Men are, a good candidate for like that kind of movie. Like Deadpool was.
Right. And I feel like, you have Spider-Man who's a Boy Scout. So, he doesn't kill anybody.
Captain America.
You have all these like Boy Scout characters. And not saying that, there aren't like some gritty storylines to them.
Sure.
But it's not like Old Man Logan's storyline. Like if you read that comic before seeing the movie, you'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, this was much needed. And Deadpool, he has no filter. So it's like, okay, he's like that. But X-Men as a whole, it was, based on civil injustices. So
right.
So it's just like, that's a deeper meaning than, a kid from Queens losing his uncle because he didn't stop the bad guy that killed him.
Yeah.
It's deeper than that.
Was that comic book canon, or was that in just the movie?
What?
Where he didn't stop the bad guy and then the bad guy kills his uncle.
I think that is canon with the movies or in the comics. I know there was some things like, I know in the what was it? The Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where he didn't stop the bad guy.
Right.
But it wasn't the bad guy that killed him. It was actually Sandman, that, his partner in crime accidentally, scared him and he pulled the trigger on Uncle Ben. But I mean, I think there's like different ways that people have portrayed that.
Sure. I didn't know if that one was exclusive to that movie or if that was, if that was how it always went down, that he failed to kill the guy or stop the guy. And then
that is the deal where, he didn't stop somebody doing from something bad, and then his uncle paid the price for that.
Wow.
So that's his whole deal. Like, kind of like Batman almost, in a way, that I made a promise to not ever, let somebody bad get away with it.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I still love, we're kind of rabbit trailing that scene from Civil War where Spider-Man and Captain America have that, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from Queens, yeah. That was cool.
Yeah,
I'm not
like
even
that.
from there, but I still thought that was
I lived
funny.
in Brooklyn.
Yeah, you did.
Traveled to Queens.
Yeah. Brooklyn is where the Nets play, right?
Yes. Ain't that where the Snake plays?
The Snake?
Yeah, Cupcake.
Oh. That's not nice. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And so what
If you
is
don't know
what
who I'm
is
talking about, it's
Queens
Kevin Durant.
known for? What is Queens like? What do they got over there? The Mets or the
No, I don't know who they got. I don't think they got anybody. I think it's Brooklyn. Or because everything I think is the Nets, the Jets, but they're not technically Queens.
Yeah. The Jets play in Jersey, I think, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah.
And then you have the Mets,
Right.
and the Yankees.
Right.
Trying to think who else. I think that's it, but I don't think anybody's from Queens.
The Islanders? The New York Rangers?
I thought it was Texas Rangers.
No, I'm talking about hockey, man.
Oh, okay. I don't watch hockey.
I don't know what they have in Queens, but you lived in Brooklyn.
They got
though?
some good food though. They got some really good Colombian food restaurants,
Nice.
and man, it's delicious.
Sweet. So
delicious.
Tom Hardy is Wolverine. If
Yep.
you're the guy right now that makes that decision, is that the guy you're gonna go with? If he's willing and able.
I wouldn't mind seeing him as Wolverine. I like his gruffiness. I think he would bring it justice. I don't know. I mean, we just had Hugh Jackman for like 20 years as Wolverine.
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of hard to see anybody else play Wolverine. But I wouldn't mind seeing Tom Hardy take a swing at it. I pretty much everything that Tom Hardy has touched, I have watched, and I haven't really disliked. So I think he could do a pretty good job. And then I think, we could get X-23 out of it as well.
We should already be getting that with the girl that was in Old Man Logan or Logan. We should already be getting that. Somebody should already be on that.
Right.
Because she was so good in that movie. And I can't believe that they haven't already spun off something.
Yeah, maybe that's what they might do in the new X-Men stuff when that comes to.
But I mean, if they don't hurry up, she'll be like 30.
Right.
Tom Hardy will be 80. So if it were me, I would say yes, because I do love Tom Hardy, and I think he would be great as Wolverine. I just kind of get like the, what do you call it? Like fatigue of every time it's always Tom Hardy this, Tom Hardy that. Let's just do it and get it over with.
Yeah.
And like make an X-Men movie.
I'm right there with you.
All right. So let's talk about a few nerd updates that are confirmed.
Okay, it's not in our notes, but I did want to talk about it real quick because I feel like it's dude was a very pivotal person in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, you're talking about Dave Bautista?
Yeah. Did you saw that he's quitting after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, right?
Yeah. So I think did we talk about this last week? I think, or the week before, where people were saying they thought that Drax was going to get killed, because the like typically in the other two movies, whatever the color situation was on the Guardians of the Galaxy logo, whoever got killed in that movie, that like Yondu in the last one was blue, like bright blue, and like so now this one they say looks more like Drax's color, and so they think he's gonna get killed. And then so Dave Bautista came out and says he's not gonna get killed, but he doesn't want to play Drax anymore after this one.
Yeah. And the reason why is kind of funny. He doesn't want to do stuff without a shirt on anymore. Like he's like self-conscious of how he's looking. Because he says, you know, by the time they do Guardians of the Galaxy, he'll be, you know, mid 50s. Like he'll be 54, I think he said. So it's just like, man, if I look like that, I'd have my shirt off all day.
Well, yeah. Well, the thing is, you know, and it's kind of like, to me, it's almost an eye roll situation because Dave Bautista, like lately, because, you know, he worked with Zack Snyder on Army of the Dead. He worked with David Ayer on Suicide Squad. Or no, I mean, not David Ayer, James Gunn, and not Suicide Squad on Guardians of the Galaxy. You know what I'm saying? He's worked with these great directors, right? And he's trying to, from what he says, kind of learn some of their directing techniques and stuff, because I think he's interested in that. And then B, he's trying to really like be an actor, like really like a taken serious type actor, like a Mickey Rourke type actor.
Don't get me started on that, dude.
And so that, like, when he's been on about that, like saying that, I've kind of been like, because he's like, you know, I don't want to take any more roles as like the typical action flick or whatever, you know, like he said he took the Zack Snyder Army of the Dead movie because he could watch Zack Snyder work and blah, blah, blah. And so like, I was kind of like, man, like, you're an action guy, you know, you were a wrestler,
right?
You know, right. I'm not saying he couldn't be a good actor and shouldn't try to take it serious and yada, yada, yada. It just sometimes when they start talking about it like that, you're like, ugh, you're going to get so far away from what like actually people did like. And then, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, cause it kind of reminds me of The Rock playing a scientist in Rampage. What 6'3", 200-pound, beefy, muscular dude is a scientist? I mean, now, I'm not saying that there's not anybody that's out there that's but when I see him, you know, jumping out of a car to a helicopter, doing dive rolls, shooting people, I don't think of you as a scientist. Yeah, at all. Like that's the farthest thing from my mind. And like, I'm not saying, you know, scientists can't be in shape or anything like that. But if all I've known you for is the people's elbow, calling somebody a jabroni, picking somebody up and slamming them down, like I said before, driving fast cars, I'm sorry, I'm not going to expect you to be a detective trying to find who killed Sarah Marshall. Well, you know, I'm not. You know, he's some people do need to kind of stay in their lane somewhat. I mean, you know, I think The Rock does a really good job in his movies. I like watching The Rock's movies, and you know, Ballers, where he's playing like a guy who was a former football player. Like these are things that he does look like the part, and then he plays the part very well. Yeah, and you know, and I guess that's the thing that people are so upset with typecasting. Yeah. And so. But I mean, at the same time, if you're like a big burly dude like Bautista, like The Rock, like Arnold, like Rambo, like, you know, all these guys, then this is where you are getting opportunities that Cameo doesn't get. Right. You see what I'm saying? I mean, and so I want to be an action star. Yeah, but you're not going to be unless you know, get on that HGH. Right now, and probably it's too late still, but you know what I mean? Like, honestly, Dave Bautista got in the WWE looking like he does, worked hard to look like that. I'm not saying he didn't. I mean, he did,
over a ton of guys that maybe, could talk or promo or do all kinds of stuff, but they don't look like that guy. They don't look like Dave Bautista, right? Now, he wants to be an actor. That's cool. I think that he should do whatever he should do. And because, honestly, in Army of the Dead, I thought he was really good. I didn't think that he was Oscar worthy or anything like that, but I thought he did a good job. I just kind of get the sense that Dave Bautista is starting to get a little, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like too big for his britches, somewhat too small for his not wearing shirts. I don't know. But I get what he's saying though, too. Like, like his body isn't going to look like that forever. Right. So does he want to go around like looking like the Hulk Hogan, like saggy looking and,
Right.
And so there will be a time when he doesn't get roles based on what his body is looking like. And so he's trying to plan for that, and that's okay
and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But get some of those under your belt first before you know. And I'm pretty sure that's what he wants to do, and he's tired of being typecasted as an action star. But I mean, again, that's just what you came out of wrestling doing. Like I understand if and I will say some of these movies that he's been in haven't been the type of movies like, oh, I want him to be in my drama series.
Well, like that one, what was the movie with him and the little girl? Like it was kind of like it was like every action kind of movie. Rock has done it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But I get that he's bored with that, and he's not wrestling, so he's got time.
Yeah.
I loved him as Drax. I really did. He was also saying that they didn't give Drax like the rich backstory that he really had in the comics. They didn't bring that to the movies. And he thinks that Drax honestly should be played by a younger guy now than him, and they should give Drax his own movie. So like he wants to pass the torch, which I think is cool. I don't think he's just stepping away because he's had any kind of bad experience or he doesn't like the character. I think he just thinks that somebody could take it further, and he hopes that they do. Maybe
Tom Hardy.
He could. He could. No.
Or Zac Efron.
Yeah. But I mean, like, I would miss him as Drax just because I thought he was hilarious, and I know he might not want to be. And I get that because, when I was a younger DJ on the radio, I was a part of an afternoon show where like I was like what they called the stunt boy, right? And the stunt boy, funny, people always remember B-Rad and all the stuff that, I did. And, it's funny too because people will be like, oh, you were B-Rad. And I'm like, yeah. But the thing is like I didn't want to be B-Rad on the radio forever. I wanted like, to be Rick and Brad, you know what I mean? Like, right. And I knew too that like if that's all I ever did, that's all they were going to ever let me do. So after a while, I was like, I tried to break away from that and like lose the name and, got to where a little bit more where I wanted to be as far as that went. But So I kind of feel like his vibe here. He doesn't want to just be that one thing that people expect him to be because of this, that, or the other. And I feel that. So good for him. Good for him. But it does kind of sound like kind of like stuck up too, like, Yeah. But that whole Mickey Rourke thing, I know you didn't really want to go into it, but I do want to say something about it because he was saying the thing about the crap acting. And, Mickey Rourke, he's a pretty good actor. I mean, The Wrestler, that movie was a great movie. He's been in some really good movies. I was really excited that he was going to be in that. Which movie was it? Was it The Avengers or was it Iron Man? It was The Avengers.
It was Iron Man 2.
Iron Man, yeah. I was so excited about him being in that movie, and I didn't even think that necessarily he shined as much as I thought he would. And I don't know, but the thing is like they're not going to give you that much to work with as an actor. Let's compare it to Once a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino movie with Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio. that's a movie where you got to act. And there's a lot
Yeah.
to do. There's a lot to do acting wise. And I feel like the Avengers, you got to react, you got to do some, and then the rest is like the big, it's an action flick. It's a, what it is. We all know what it is.
Right. And that's why I didn't really want to get into it, is because this is not like, and just because it's on top of my head, 12 Years a Slave, you cannot put that acting in a superhero film. And you should have known, and that's what makes me upset, is that he calls it crap acting, and it's not crap.
It's not crap acting. It's just,
it's like, I mean, the thing is like, don't knock something that other people like. Not everybody wants to see a movie like 12 Years a Slave, or something that had, a true life story or something like that. Like it's like, I just don't understand why people have to, and like even directors, like I know Scorsese had said stuff about these superhero films, and I'm just like, don't knock something, and you're not even trying to make it better, basically.
Well,
like
the thing is, I could understand Scorsese in a way, though. If he says, I don't ever want to do an action hero, like a superhero action movie, that's fine by me. I'm fine by that. Like, I love Scorsese's movies. I love his movies, right? And not everybody does. Not everybody loves a movie that's 3 hours long or whatever, like The Irishman,
right?
All that. But the thing
still haven't seen it yet.
It's a great movie. But it's just two different kinds of things. One is a fantasy,
right? And
one is like mostly dealing with realism,
right?
Which is what Scorsese does. That's why when I talk about films and cinema versus movies, I feel like there is a difference.
Yeah.
And then if you think about it, the film, the cinema, the ones that win all the Oscars, they come from like these darker places somewhat, these tortured places where, because people do, they believe that, and I do too, in a way, that, that kind of thing is where art really comes from. But is that say that Guardians or Thor or all, Endgame, that there wasn't art in that movie, or, no, it's just a different thing.
Right. And that's why, again, and you nailed it on the head. It's fantasy versus realism. They're two different things. Like you can't apples to oranges. You just can't.
Well, and the thing is, Drax, he gets to put on, the makeup, the thing. He's big and huge and looks like an action star, so you believe him. It is harder, I feel like, but still, like, people in these movies still pull it off. But it's harder to really make you believe in like their emotion and their, that part of it.
And also too, like with Robert Downey Jr., who is a phenomenal actor.
Mark Ruffalo. So you're gonna call Mark Ruffalo's a phenomenal actor. Like Benedict Cumberbatch is, I don't know if I'd say phenomenal, but pretty good. These are guys that are known more for their acting than any kind of action movies.
What's his name? Oh my, Don Cheadle, also a phenomenal actor. Tom
Holland is becoming a really good actor. Like,
you've seen Cherry, right?
Loved it.
Amazing.
Loved it.
Amazing.
So good.
So weird not seeing him as, a Boy Scout, but
but he was so good. Like, and it was hard to be like, okay, this is going to be like imagining my cute little brother, like in this hardcore kind of role. He was great. He did great.
Yeah.
And so, but these are actors. Now that particular kind of movie, it's great because it has a built-in audience.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say that Robert Downey Jr. doesn't have to do as much acting in these movies as he did in Less Than Zero, back when he was a young guy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Which is I bring that one up because it's one of my favorites of his, and he was acting. I mean, that was so. it's just that it's stupid that Mickey Rourke can't see, and even Scorsese to some point. I love Scorsese, and I would never want to criticize him, but like they have to see that these are just two different things.
Yeah, and another thing too, it's like, you know, being in dance all my life. That I remember one of my professors, this was in college, was telling me, my ballet instructor or my ballet professor was like, so what are you doing other than, you know, dance here? And I was like, oh, I'm in a little dance company that my old dance teacher put together. You know, we do hip hop, jazz, contemporary, all that stuff. And he was like, well, maybe you should not do those anymore because you're bringing that over to the classical side, which that's why I hated ballet so much, is because it wouldn't let me be more expressive.
Right.
So
Right.
like, I'll do this, the ballet Swan Lake. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful piece. But it is kind of cookie cutterish. There's no room to add an extra feeling into it, because, you know, it's about a swan turning into a woman. Then there's like a bad swan, and, you know, you get tricked in marrying the
like
bad swan.
Well,
It's just,
I feel like what you're saying, there's like a rigidity in it, like
right. And with like contemporary hip hop and jazz, I mean, hip hop is all funky, man. You do whatever you want, you feel what you feel,
right.
You do it,
right.
But that's another thing too. Like, you know, some ballet dancers thought that, you know, modern dance was crap, but it was more expressive, so they weren't used to that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where Mickey Rourke and you know, Scorsese are. They're used to what they're doing, and they like what they like, and they're just old crotchety men. You know.
Well, and then there are, I mean, this is a concept. I'm not saying it's something real tangible, but there is the concept of higher art. Some things are higher art, but that, you know, and I feel like that might kind of be like, okay, so as a ballet dancer, you have to put yourself through a whole lot crazy more training too. And like you said, the rigidity of it, but like the rigid training and the, you know, the hurting of your body and all that. Whereas maybe like the more expressive, but more like improvised version of, you know, like hip hop dancing or whatnot. I'm not saying it's not, the work doesn't go in, but maybe it's just the same as like how I would think something that you could draw on a computer isn't quite the same as like a Van Gogh in a museum. Right. But at the same time, if you look at every little painting in a museum, not everybody's going to love every painting the same. They're all going to think something different about every painting. And those are all paintings that are in museums. So
right. And you know, we were just me and my wife watched oh my goodness, it was about Van Gogh, and oh my goodness, the dude that played Willem Dafoe played Van Gogh.
Oh man, I haven't seen that, but I bet it was awesome. Willem Dafoe.
It was really good, man. I definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been on either Amazon Prime or Hulu, but either way, you know, people didn't like his art, and now he's one of the most famous artists out there. So it's again, it's your perception, it's your opinion on what is good and what is bad, and that is totally fine.
And it's what you're in the mood for. Sometimes I'm in the mood for the Goodfellas or Casino, and sometimes I'm in the mood for Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, come on,
and
it can all be good. It can all be good.
Yeah, it all has its place. That's the thing.
Exactly.
Every movie, every art, every person has its place in the scheme of things, you know.
It's just that the thing is, like, the thing that it's always that the stuff that's less art or whatever is more like the pop thing, the more popular. So,
Yeah.
Britney Spears in her day was super popular, like, on top of the world, but was she better than the best opera singer out there as far as singing? No. And so you could see how the opera singer would be like, man, the disparity and like the appreciation for talent here sucks. But at the same time, does that change the fact that Britney Spears connected to people and they loved her and they wanted? No, it doesn't. It doesn't change that.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. So,
Sorry that we went off on that tangent.
Hey,
y'all.
I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it. So, a few more nerd updates, and like I say, this is really just a nerd update show. So, I don't know if I'm excited about this, to be honest. Like, as much as I'm not,
You're not
all that. Yeah, you guessed it.
You're not
as much as I'm not like a big Superman fan. I could care less about his dog. So, this feels like this is going to be for kids, I'm sure, right? It's the DC Super Pets.
Yeah.
The Rock is playing Krypto the Super Dog.
Well, see, the funny thing is they used to have a series back in the day of Krypto. And he was, he would go on his little adventures. He would be the superhero. And I can't really remember the whole premise of the show other than that he was a super dog.
Does he have like superpowers like Superman?
Yes, he can fly. He can shoot laser out of his eyes.
Whoa, no. Like, what if he's an asshole dog? Like.
Right. He's bulletproof.
Do they have like a Zod dog?
I don't know. They probably do.
Okay.
They probably do.
All right.
But I don't know. I can't remember. But Ace,
like, dogs aren't like, dogs are smart, but they're not real smart. Like, I could see him just getting pissed off and be like, I didn't get my snack on time.
Right.
Laser eyes. Yeah, I don't think anybody should
hit me with the newspaper.
I don't think anybody should have a super dog. I think that should only maybe be reserved for Superman.
Right. But yeah, that like I'm kind of excited just to see how it goes.
Does he have to stay on a leash?
No.
See,
you can't put that dog on a leash.
That is not proper dog
unless you're
owning.
Superman.
No, he needs to go in a crate. He'd be like,
a kryptonite crate.
Yeah, forget this crate.
Right.
So is he? I guess he. Kryptonite is his kryptonite.
His weakness. Yeah. Basically.
So he's just like Superman, huh? Did he come from Krypton? I guess.
I'm gonna assume so. I don't really know the backstory.
So how did he get here? Did they pod him out too? They're like, save the dog.
Probably. Right.
Smart. I like these people now. Because, like the first thing I do is like, save my dogs. I don't care about anybody else.
Right.
All right. So I could get into that. What if he has a foul mouth? Like if he's a foul mouth superhero dog, like all these Amazon Prime shows.
But why would he do that?
That'd be better. He'd be like Superman, the insult comic dog. That'd be a better show.
Okay. Well, I mean, let's I guess you can talk to the directors and see how they like it.
All right. Maybe. Maybe The Rock he'll know what's up.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's coming soon. I am not excited about it, but I'll watch it.
Man, The Rock is making money, man. Like,
well, he's like, he must be like a DC guy. Like, I haven't really heard him really go in on it, but he's been trying to be Black Adam forever.
Yeah.
And I think they even put out some pictures of him, but it was like the most vague pictures ever. So I was like, did you do that in your garage? Like, this isn't a behind the scenes set photo, but he's really been, after it to be in the DCEU and all that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that they could find a place for The Rock.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
I guess as of right now, he's Krypto the insult super dog. Because look at him. He's kind of got that look on his face behind you, like,
yeah,
he's about to tell you to F off.
You jabroni.
All right. So I got the title of the next piece that we're going to talk about was misleading, because on the Facebook page, I thought that they were rebooting Batman the animated series.
Mhm.
But the title was saying that we're getting a new Batman animated series. Oh, that looks like it's you. Like you're the Batman.
Maybe I am.
I like it. You should just keep that as your background from now on.
All right.
But it was interesting because it's by the people who did do the animated series.
Mhm.
Bruce Timm, but then also J.J. Abrams is involved.
Yeah.
Who else? Have you been watching that? Is that okay? So the Lois and Superman show,
Mhm.
is that J.J. Abrams or is he doing something else Superman related?
I cannot remember.
I keep hearing
I
that
don't.
he is.
I can't honestly. If
So
I
it's
said
probably
no, I
something
wouldn't.
else though, because I don't know that his show would be on the CW. You know, isn't that what
Matt Reeves is on this as well.
Oh my gosh! So the guy who's making the Batman with Robert Pattinson. Wow! And so it's going to be called Batman Caped Crusader.
Yeah.
And it's
From the looks of it, looks like his first years as Batman.
right.
Just the way the drawing looks. I don't know if that's the actual artwork for his costume, but
Yeah,
that's what it looks like.
You know what's crazy is the original Batman animated series only 3 years. It was only on for 3 years. It seems like it was on
Really?
forever. Yeah.
Well, because I think like each episode is like, or each season has like 50 or 60 episodes.
Maybe. Some of them were pretty good. Some of them weren't so great. I've been rewatching it. I love I love the Joker, of course, right? But like in the first couple episodes that he shows up, he's got like this Joker theme music, and it's kind of like got like this hip hop beat to it, but it just sounds weird. It doesn't sound like it goes with anything in that show. And I'm like, we don't need like a theme song that plays every time the Joker's showing up. I can't remember the episode, but he's like floating around on some like garbage boat and all that. Anyway, so
yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I guess it's coming out on HBO Max. So, and Cartoon Network, which Cartoon Network is on HBO Max.
Max. Yeah.
Interesting. That's I think that'll be fun. I think that one will probably have the same feel of the animated series from the day, don't you think?
I hope so. I really liked the show back in the day, so
right. It's pretty good.
So yeah, season 1 had 65 episodes.
Oh wow. 65. Golly.
65 in the first season.
No wonder. No wonder. Okay.
Season 2 had 20.
Jeez. That's a big cut.
Yeah.
Like
right. And
we
season 3 had 24.
Yeah. So the first season was 3 seasons in one.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I'm glad that this one's coming out. I think it'll be good. I think it'll be really good. I mean, I love all the animated stuff that they do. Now we'll stick with the HBO Max for just a second. I don't believe this. This is a story that came out, and I think it's some bull snaps. But Arkham Knight, the game, they're saying that it's going to be an HBO Max series starring Ben Affleck. So all of that sounds like poo because, obviously Ben Affleck's not doing Batman anymore. I don't think unless Zack Snyder's involved. And then I just don't. Do you want to see an Arkham Knight? The only reason I don't is because, and spoilers for anybody who hasn't played the game, it's been done. Like the game was cool, but it was a twist on a story that we've seen, and so we've already seen that like a bunch of times. Is
it really going to be like that though?
Well, I don't know. I guess maybe not. Maybe not. I guess they could do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. But I mean, Arkham Knight was certainly, the theme was different than the others because like they weren't in Arkham or anything like that. It was, everybody's played this game by now, right? So it was Jason Todd, You know, it was the Red Hood. It was, except for he was futuristic now, and he was Arkham Knight instead.
Yeah.
So, which was cool for
Well,
the
I think
game.
he ended up becoming like the Red Hood after you know, beat the stuffings off of him.
So, I mean, you know, like, but again, it was cool. And then throughout the game, you're like, oh, this is Jason Todd. I can tell.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Like halfway through, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess maybe just the theme of the game, like the theme of the game, they made a show about it. That would be cool for sure. But if it's like following that Arkham Knight storyline, I wouldn't be all that excited. But I still don't think this is happening, right?
Yeah, probably not.
So we'll move on.
We'll see.
This one definitely is happening, and it's another game that's going to be made into something. Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Yes.
So that I'm not sure like how this tracks. I should have looked it up, but I'm pretty sure the game came out and then they made the comics based on off of the game, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But we could be wrong on that. So if we are, then we apologize. But I do think that that's how that goes. And I enjoyed the comics. I really like the games. You know, the Injustice kind of thing really had to have had some kind of effect on Zack Snyder and his, you know, the Nightmare and all that, like all that. Because again, you know, right behind Cameo, you see Superman and Batman. They're fighting each other, you know, and like this is a pretty good story that I think will make a good animated movie.
Yeah, it's I really liked playing the game. I think I read I did read the storyline, and if some of you might not know this, Superman goes haywire because Joker kills basically all of Metropolis, and what's her name, Lois Lane, right? Was in Metropolis when it happened, and she was pregnant with his son, and you know,
or
Superman,
was it Batman's son?
Ooh.
That's what it would have been. That's what it would have been in the Zack Snyder,
right?
In his sequels, that's what he said. It would have been Batman's son, which I don't like that either. I don't want Batman to hook up with Lois Lane.
I do.
Ooh. So yeah. So I think that'll be. But I think the whole thing will make a cool animated movie.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So John Boyega, we all know him from Star Wars, right? Well, you might have known him before Star Wars. I did, but then I actually forgot.
Yeah.
Like I forgot that he was in Attack the Block, which was a great movie, by the way. Like you've seen that one, right?
Oh, yes. I love the movie, dude.
Yeah. It had like, I think it was rated R, but it was like about a bunch of younger teenage guys that went around saying bruv a lot.
True.
What else did he say? I'll allow it, bruv.
Yeah.
Bruv. But like, you know, they're these English guys and they get caught up with some alien activity. But it was just such a cool movie. It was such a good movie.
Yeah, these I can't remember, it was like 5 or 6 of them from the hood, and these aliens could not keep up with them. So it was amazing, man. That I would say that's probably one of my favorite alien invasion movies.
Oh yeah, and it was like one of those movies that, you know, like I said, it was from England. I think that they had like won like some kind of film festival and all that, got the money to make it and some of that. But so a lot of people didn't see it. It wasn't like a big blockbuster type movie.
Yeah.
And so what I'm really hoping now is that people have seen it since then, have been told about it, heard about it, or watch it now because they're making Attack the Block 2.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for. Like, man, it was such a great cast that I hope, and I'm really hoping that they bring back everybody that they can.
Yeah.
Because their chemistry was just so good. You know, it had that hip hop kind of flair to it, and it was just such a great movie. I'm gonna go watch it again now.
Yeah,
after we get out of
here, man, like I can't tell people enough to watch that movie. Like I said, it's one of my favorite alien invasion movies out there.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know, John Boyega is a phenomenal actor as well. But to see him, you know, because I don't see him like this at all. You know, in all the other movies that he's played.
Yeah, like if all you knew was Finn from Star Wars,
right.
And then you saw Attack the Block, because like I said, I completely forgot he was in Attack the Block. And then I was like, oh my God, that was John Boyega, because this movie came out, I don't know, it's been a while.
I'd say like early 2000s.
Yeah, or mid.
But yeah.
So really, really excited about Attack the Block 2. And then our last nerd update. If you were like a big fan of The Mandalorian and you were hoping for all the spinoffs, we might not be getting as many as we thought. Yeah. Rangers of the New Republic. It got canceled.
Yep.
And I guess it's not that big of a surprise, being that Gina Carano, who was set to star in Rangers of the New Republic, she got canceled. So
yeah, right. Yeah.
So they fired her. I guess she was going to star in it. Like, it doesn't make sense though. I guess they probably Cameo. I would have guessed that this was in that somebody had just wrote it down as like a great idea stage.
Yeah.
And somebody, I guess, put together a logo, like, and we'll have Gina Carano star, because if not, then if they had like gone into some serious planning or pre-production or any of it, why wouldn't they just recast it?
Yeah. I don't know. And I feel like they should. I mean, Cara Dune was a fan favorite, and I don't really think it's because it was Gina Carano. So I mean, you could do what they did in with James Rhodes in Iron Man.
Yeah.
You know, just switch him out.
Yeah, I think you could switch her out. Maybe.
Because
put in Wonder Woman instead.
No,
you wouldn't.
I mean, I wouldn't. But I mean, you know,
I just say that because I saw some pictures of everybody saying that Gina Carano should have been Wonder Woman, and I was laughing because I thought, she did look like a badass in a Wonder Woman suit that they had made. Like, you know, I think they probably just Boss Logic it, you know, but
yeah.
But she definitely ain't gonna be Wonder Woman. So
yeah.
Although I think she was still working on some stuff with the Ben Shapiro guy who does all the political talk shows and podcasts.
Oh, okay.
So I bet that's going to be super entertaining and everybody's going to love it outside of the alt-right.
Right.
All right. So yeah, it got canceled. I'm sure there's other stuff on the way. I'm not that concerned about the Star Wars, and got Obi-Wan, and I'm sure at some point we'll get like a little Grogu spinoff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So
I think once he gets older, I think when he gets 100, that's when he'll start.
Yep. All right, let's jump into Pandem picks for just a second before we get out of here. Cameo, the Pandem pick that I wanted to talk about. Well, first I want to say we will discuss the last few episodes of the Bad Batch, but we're going to do it next episode when I get caught up. So that's that. And we will also talk more about what our Pandem pick is next episode, because we haven't really got into it a whole lot. But MODOK, streaming now on Hulu. And yeah, MODOK,
he's about
honestly,
to kill me.
I don't know much about MODOK. I feel like New World Comics has done like a MODOK, like a puppet or something during their like the Saturday morning superhero schools that they do. Because I feel like we've seen that up there around the comic book store when we were up there, but I can't remember. But so I don't know a whole lot about MODOK, but the trailer was really funny, and like the whole stop motion animation kind of style or whatever. I really love that. and I think it's perfect for like a show that's going to be a little more outside the box,
Yeah.
outside his boxy little head.
No, it's like MODOK being a centralized character is kind of funny to me. And then Patton Oswalt being the voice of MODOK. I mean, again, that's even more funny. It's just Patton Oswalt kind of reminds me of MODOK just a little bit. If you don't know what he looks like, go look him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a little bit before the show, and it seems pretty funny. Right now they got 4 episodes out on Hulu. So yeah, I'm kind of excited to see what's going on with it. But I just rather see another Spider-Man show or another Avengers show or even a Guardians of the Galaxy show. But I mean that's just me though.
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be fun though. Like I like to see some of these characters that are a little lesser known that have like obviously just looking at him, he has something interesting about him. You know what I mean? Like he's different than all the others we see right now. And so because I'm thinking, what if MODOK does real good? What if we got like a Howard the Duck?
Oh man. Well, I think they are supposed to be making a Howard Duck series.
That's
supposed to be on Hulu.
I thought a long time ago that it was going to be like something to do with MODOK and Howard the Duck. So I wonder if we'll get any. I mean, like, I'm not basing this on anything. So if this actually happens, then I'm going to like really kind of claim it, because this is just drawing off of something I heard a long time ago. But what if they introduced Howard the Duck in this show somehow?
They might.
That'd be pretty cool.
In the first episode, like I'm not even all the way through. The first episode they show Iron Man.
They do?
Yeah.
Nice. So yeah, I'm gonna have to
but this show kind of reminds me of that DC show with Anthony Tudyk.
Yeah.
This is what it kind of reminds me of, but obviously with toys, basically.
Right on. Well, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to, I could give some picks, but everything I'm watching right now is about to end. Like I've been watching the Mighty Ducks, that show, the reboot.
I need to watch that.
It's pretty good. Did you like the movies?
Yeah.
If you love the movies, you'll love the show.
Okay.
But it's like in the last episode next week. So yeah, definitely Army of the Dead. I would say watch that on Netflix. It's also in theaters. Yeah. And me and Nugget, we'll be talking about that on our podcast, Conformist Peach Cobbler, coming out soon. We'll be talking about that.
I like that name.
Yeah. We'll be talking about the Saw movie, Spiral, with Chris Rock.
Did you see it?
Not yet.
Okay.
Probably going to go watch it tonight. And then, yeah, we'll talk. Conjuring's coming out soon. So, but what I'm looking forward to, Nerds to Men style, June 9th.
Oh yeah,
Loki.
Yes,
so, that one's gonna be.
And then I think that might be just the first episode, but then I think we might get an episode that Friday.
Oh yeah.
I think, because I don't see why they would just do every Wednesday, unless, because like with the Bad Batch, they did it. I thought it was going to be on Tuesdays, but it was actually, they did a Tuesday, the premiere, and then they did a show on Friday that same week. So I wonder if they're going to do that with this show.
I don't know.
Well, either way, I wouldn't. I don't mind, because I want some Loki.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. There's not like
real quick
coming out. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to shout out to one of the funniest comedians out there that just passed away over the week, Paul Mooney.
Yeah, I didn't know he passed away.
Yep. So yeah, If you don't know any of Paul Mooney's stuff, you can wet your toes in just a little bit with Dave Chappelle, because he did a few skits with him on the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
He wrote for Richard Pryor, another hilarious comedian. But yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Paul Mooney.
Right on. Right on. All right, Cameo. Well, I think that's a wrap for us this week.
All right, y'all. You know what to do. Keep it nerdy.
Smile and put on a happy face.
This is the way.
This is the way. This is the way.
That was awesome!
Freeze all motor functions.